Hey, greetings students. Welcome to your first grader assignment in 1570. To download our grader projects, first place we need to go is our MyLab and Mastering. From MyLab and Mastering in Canvas, we're going to come over here to open MyLab and Mastering. All right, from here we have our assignment calendar on the left-hand side. Click on your assignment calendar on the left-hand side. And notice we have our calendar with all of our due dates. Let's go ahead and click on the first alarm clock here. Every time you see an alarm clock is when there is an assignment due. We'll go ahead and click on the 19th. And over here we have all of our assignments. You have your e-text, you have different videos to help you with the assignment, and audio PowerPoint presentation. You also have your training simulations that will help you with the grader project. These are graded. And then you have your grader project, Word Chapter 4 grader project, expense reduction. Go ahead and click on that assignment. Notice we have 4 steps. First step is download materials. Second step is work assignment on your computer. Then we're going to upload your completed assignment and submit it for grading. So first we're going to download our materials. And notice we have a few options here. We have our instructions, click download. And we have our student Go file right here, click download. Now you also have this option here that says download all files. This downloads a zip file of all of these materials here. I do not recommend you download the all files button because it will download as a zip file. It will make it harder to extract, to do your assignment, to save it properly, and then to upload it for a grade. So please, just anytime you have your materials, click on the individual downloads. And this is going to go for every single assignment that we do in this class. So I've already clicked on the instructions, which I highly recommend that you print out before you start the project. And you have your grader project. It should have your name. For me, it says student, but it should have your last name. They are watermarked, so if you try to turn in somebody else's work or if you copy information from somebody else's project, it will flag it as an integrity violation and you will get in trouble for that. So notice down here I now have my 2 files I've downloaded. I'm going to go ahead and open up my instructions and move it off to a different, close out of that. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my instructions here. I'm going to hit enable editing and I'm going to move that to my secondary monitor over here. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my student file. This is the file with your name on it, and hit enable editing. So here is the assignment. So our first step is to apply the title style to the first paragraph. Our first paragraph is this Costa Rican Trex. Now you'll notice I have these little paragraph marks here that you probably do not have showing up on yours. Please come to your Home tab here under your paragraph grouping and turn on this Show Hide button right here. This will allow you to see those particular marks. They do not print. They are there for your visual reference on screen to know when a paragraph, where you've hit enter, where there's a paragraph, when you've hit tab, or you'll see little dots in between the words. That's where you use the space bar to put a space. So it wants us to apply the title style to the first paragraph. So go ahead and highlight this first paragraph here, Costa Rican Trex. And we're going to come to the Home tab, and under our Home tab we have our Styles group here. And under our Styles group we have several of them showing. And notice right here we have the one that says Title. If you don't see it here, you can click on this down arrow with the line above it, which will give you more options. And here it is. It still says Title. I'm going to go ahead and click on Title. And next it wants us to select Memo. So I'm going to go ahead and select Memo. So highlight Memo. And it wants me to highlight Memo. And it wants me to apply the strong style. Once again, I'm going to come up here to my styles grouping under my home tab, and I will hit this down arrow with the line above it. And here it is. Here is the strong style. And it wants us to change the font size to 26 and the case to uppercase. So I'm going to come up here to my font group, and I'm going to change it to 26 for the font size. And if you hover over this icon right here, it says change case. I click on that down arrow, and I'm going to select uppercase. And notice now it will uppercase the entire memo. On step number 3, it wants me to highlight 2 and the colon that follows. So right here, notice I have 2 in that colon. So I'm going to highlight 2 and the colon afterwards. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, make it a little easier to see. And it wants me to apply bold. So I'm going to come up here to my font grouping. I'm going to hit the B for bold. It also wants me to change the font color to orange, accent 2, darker 25%. I'm going to come up to my font group. There is this A with a red underline. I'm going to hit the down arrow next to it. And I'll find the orange, accent 2, but it wants orange, accent 2, darker 25%. Notice when I hover over a color, it gives me exactly what that color is. So I can scroll down here until I find accent 2, darker 25%, which is this one right here. And with that 2 still selected, we are going to create our own style. To do that, we are going to come up here to our styles group. We're going to click on this down arrow with the line above it. And we are going to create a style. And this style is going to be named memo heading. And make sure when you type in memo heading, make sure you capitalize the M and the H. And go ahead and hit OK. So now we have a memo heading style. We want to apply it to from, date, and subject, including the colons. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to highlight from with the colon. I'm going to come back up here to my styles group, click the down arrow with the line above it, and notice now we have our memo heading that we created. I'll go ahead and click on that. Notice how it changes the style for us. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to highlight date with the colon, and I'm going to come back up here and click on memo heading. And then I'm also going to select subject with the colon and come up here and hit memo heading. And now I have all of them to the style that I want. All right, for step number 5, it wants us to change the style set to basic elegant. So first I'm going to deselect off of subject so it's not highlighted. So I'm just going to click somewhere down here. Then I'm going to come up here to my design tab. From my design tab, I have my document formatting, this long bar right here. I'm going to click the down arrow with the line above it. And I'm going to find the one that says basic elegant. So I'm going to start with the first one, hover over it. And there it is. It says basic elegant. Go ahead and click on that. And it's going to change the entire formatting to the entire document. It also wants me to change the paragraph spacing to relaxed. I'll come over here. Once again, I'm still on my design tab. Under paragraph spacing, I'm going to find the one that says relaxed. And notice how it will increase the space in between each sentence. And last, on step number 5, it wants me to select on page 1, beginning with 2, to all the remaining paragraphs in the document, changing the font to 12 point. So I'm going to start up here at where it says 2. I'm going to click and highlight all the way down to the rest of the document. Notice how it's all selected. And I'm going to come to my home tab. Under my font grouping, I'm going to change the font from 11 to 12. And we are done with step number 5. For step number 6, it says on page 2, select all of the text. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to page number 2. And I'm going to just click to deselect all of my text. And then I'm going to highlight employee-related savings all the way down to as much as possible. And it wants me to apply a multi-level list with the format 1.a.i. So I'm going to come up here to my home tab under my paragraph grouping. My multi-leveled list is this one right here. I'm going to click the down arrow. and I want the 1.a.i., which is this current list right here, this first one. And notice how it changes my my numbered list here. I got a numbered list. And it says for the paragraphs that begin with mobile phone reduction, vendor, research, evaluate, and utilize, press the tab to increase the indent at one time. So to do this, I'm going to highlight mobile phones all the way over to only calls. Hold down my control key. I'm going to highlight reduction in vehicle allowances. Then I'm going to highlight, keeping the control key held down, vendor contract negotiations. Still holding down the control key, I'm going to highlight research and less expensive local long distance services. I'm also going to highlight evaluating current marketing strategies and effectiveness. And then lastly, I'm going to highlight utilize websites. And hit the tab key once, and notice how that will increase my list level and give me employee reductions in AB underneath it, operations, then an AB under that, and then marketing AB under that. Now, if you have a hard time highlighting and using the control key to highlight multiple items, I'm going to go ahead and hit undo real quick. You can, instead of doing all of that, you can come up here to mobile devices, put your cursor in front of mobile devices, hit the tab key, and you can put your cursor in front of reduction and hit the tab key. Put your cursor in front of vendor, tab, cursor in front of research, tab, put your cursor in front of evaluate, hit tab, and then put your cursor in front of utilize and hit tab, and you will accomplish the exact same thing. All right, so once your list looks like mine, we want to select the entire list to create a new list style. To do this, I'm going to click on the 1 up here. And once I click on the 1, notice how it highlights 1, 2, and 3 for me. I'm going to come up here to my paragraph grouping. I'm going to click on my multi-leveled list, click the down arrow, and go to Define New List Style. And my Define New List Style will pop up here, and we're going to give it a name of Reduction List. And we are going to change the second level numbering style. So where it says apply formatting to first level, we're going to hit the down arrow and hit second level. And we're going to change where it says lowercase a, b, and c. I'm going to hit the down arrow and I'm going to select the uppercase a, b, and c. And then go ahead and hit OK. And now notice instead of lowercase a, b, a, b, a, b, I now have uppercase. So now at the end of the document for step number 8, it wants us to insert a clustered column chart. So to get to the bottom of the document, we can do it one of two ways. You can hold down your control key on your keyboard and hit the end key, not the in key. The in key, it creates a new document. The end key takes you to the very end of the document. Or you can just go ahead and click on the last paragraph marking in the document. So it wants us to insert a clustered column chart. Anytime you want to insert something, we're going to come to our Insert tab here. And from our Insert tab, we are going to find our charts. Let's go ahead and click on Charts. And it looks like Clustered Column Chart is the first chart here for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. And here it is. Here is my clustered column chart. It's also going to come up with this chart in Microsoft Word. This is where we're going to type in all of our information. So it says in A2, so we're going to click where it says Category 1, that's A2. We're going to type in Employee. And I'm going to go ahead and use my down arrow key, which will take me down to A3. And I'm going to type in Operations. And I'm going to hit my down arrow key. Oh, and I misspelled operations. Make sure you double check your spelling. Once I've typed in operations, I'm going to go down to A4 and hit marketing. And I'm going to go ahead and I will go down to A5. I'm just going to hit the delete key to get rid of A5. Using my arrow keys, I'm going to go back up to B1, and I'm going to type in projected savings in dollars. Now, very important that you make sure your spelling is absolutely correct, and also make sure you use the proper case. Notice that I've capitalized P, S, and D, projected savings in dollars. Once I've typed that in, I'm going to hit the down arrow key, and as you start typing this in, notice that the chart is actually changing for us. Right now, we already have employee, operations, and marketing. We will delete this here in a few minutes. So I'm just going to continue down. So in B2, I'm going to type in 15,000, 15000. Hit the down arrow key, type in 43000. And I'm going to hit the down arrow key again and type in 26000. Using my arrow keys again, I'm going to go over one. I'm going to go up to C1, and I'm going to type in actual. Hit the down arrow key, type in 16525. Hit the down arrow key, type in 48632. Hit the down arrow key, and type in 25480. And once we've typed in all of those, go ahead and use your arrow key to go over one. That's going to solidify our number here. Notice that we have our chart built down here, but notice we have this big blank area here. We want to get rid of that. So notice on our charts in Microsoft Word, we have this little icon, this little arrow-ish thing down here by the 5. If you hover over that, it turns into two arrows pointing diagonally away from each other. Go ahead and click hold and drag that up. So it's giving me problems here. Oh, there we go. Notice how I've dragged it up. Now that little dot's here, I can go ahead and delete these other numbers here just so they don't confuse me. So now I have just what I want. Employee, operations, and marketing. And I have projected savings in dollars and actual savings in dollars. So I am done with this. I am going to go ahead and hit exit right here. For step number 9, it wants us to apply the style for chart style. So I'm going to come up here. Notice I have these two contextual tabs that weren't here before. So I'm going to come to my Chart Tools Design tab, and I'm going to find my chart styles here. If need be, you can hit this down arrow with the line above it and find Chart Style 4, which here it is, style number 4. It wants me to change the shape outline of the chart to blue accent 5. To do this, I'm going to go to my Chart Tools Format tab. From the Chart Tools Format tab, I will find where it says Shape Outline, and I will click on Shape Outline, and we want to do blue accent 5. So let's find blue accent 5. It should be right here. Puts a nice little blue border around it. It wants us to edit cell B1 in the chart to read budget. So to change that, I'm going to come back up here to my chart tools. I'm going to click on my design tab. Under my data grouping here, I'm going to click on edit data and just click on edit data. And it's going to bring back up that chart in Microsoft Word. And instead of reading projected savings in dollars, I'm going to go ahead and click on cell B1 again. And I'm going to type in budget and hit enter. And notice now I have budget and actual. And we're done with that. We can go ahead and close out of our chart in Microsoft Word. For step number 10, it wants us to change the chart title to current year. So click on chart title once, then go ahead and click on chart title again inside. So you see your cursor. Notice your cursor is now inside the chart title. Go ahead and use your arrow keys and your backspace button to delete the title, and type in current year expenses. Once again, pay attention to your spelling and your capitalization. It wants us to apply the subtle effect, so let's go ahead and highlight that entire title. And we will come to our chart tools, our format tab, and it says shape style to the title. So let's find where it says shape styles. Right here we are. And let's click the down arrow with the line above it and find the one that says subtle effect orange accent 2. Looks like it's this one right here. And it also wants us to center the chart on the page horizontally. So go ahead and make sure we click on the outer border of our entire chart. So come up here and get the 4 arrows pointing away from each other by hovering over this line. Click once. Notice the title gets deselected. Go ahead and come to the Home tab. And under the Home tab, we're going to go to the paragraph grouping and hit the center icon right here. And it will center that on our page. Lastly, we want to add the file name to the footer. So we're going to come up here to our Insert tab. From our Insert tab, we will come over here to our header footer grouping. And we're going to click on Footer. And we're going to Edit Footer. And we want to put in the file name. So we can come up here to our Insert grouping right here. And notice we have one that says Document Info. Go ahead and click on Document Info and hit File Name. Now what this will do is it will put the file name down here. And the reason why we do it this way instead of typing in the file name is if this file name were to change, it would automatically update this for us and we would not have to come back in here and edit it. So anytime we change the name of the document, it would automatically update. And we are done. So we can go ahead and come up here and hit Close Header Footer. And I can go ahead and hit the Save icon right here. Or I can come to the File tab here and hit Save again. And we're going to go ahead and close out of it. We should come back to this screen right here. We're going to exit out of our downloading starting materials. We need to upload our file, so I'm going to click on Choose File. From Choose File, I'm going to go to my Downloads folder. And I have lots of downloads here, so I need to find the file that I want to submit, which is going to be my student file. So it should have your last name. I'm not seeing it here, so I'm going to click on the name. Actually, I'm going to click on Date Modified, and there it is. Boom, right there. It comes up to the top for me. So here it is, my student file. I'm going to click on that, hit Open, Upload, and then I'm going to Submit for grading. And then I'm going to close my assignment. Now, once I've completed my assignment, I want to see how well I did. Because this is automatically graded, I can come over here to my assignment list. I can scroll down, and I can find my assignment. Notice how it says Submitted. I can click on the 3 dots right here and hit View Submissions. And when I hit View Submissions, it will show me what my grade is. It looks like I got 100%. If I got something less than 100%, which trust me, as we go along, you will see me with lower grades than 100. But you can click on this assignment, and you can scroll down and see exactly what it is that you did wrong. Once again, didn't do anything wrong in this assignment, got 100%, so there's nothing to see. And we are done. Once again, if you need to contact me,
thanks for watching.
Contact me.
If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe to the channel, as I'll be posting new walkthroughs and tech tips each week. Check back regularly for new content, and have a wonderful day.